We've alluded to your stay in the corporate world before you came back to the farm. Curious what that was like.
I don't miss that. I started in the first recession in '91, and I was so grateful for a job. All I had was debt, so I had a company car, I had a little expense account, I had a paycheck that was like amazing, especially in my major where I was starting at maybe double what some of my counterparts were starting at because they stayed in actual retail and I went into with Nabisco. I was a very happy woman, but it was, I couldn't motivate for that job. I liked the travel. There was a bit of variety that way because I would go 8 weeks in Bismarck, 4 weeks Des Moines. I would be all over Detroit, but it just seemed, for me, it was meaningless. It's like, I just don't care that much about crackers. I just couldn't get passionate about it. And so after a year and a half and a baby being born, I just looked at my husband and said, I keep looking up, to where you could go. And I don't want to go up. Up looks even worse than where I am. So I think I need to find a new place. And then my son was born and I was traveling Monday. I'd fly out Monday, fly back Thursday night at best. And I thought, well, this is not going to work. So it was a blessing that I was traveling that much because then it was a forced get out. So no, I never miss. And plus, I was saying I started during the first recession. So how many months after I started, they started doing what they're doing now, and they start hatcheting all their middle management people. And then they start hatcheting anybody over 55 or whoever's been there longer than 20 years. And then I found out after I resigned that they got rid of absolutely everyone in my district. They found a way. So they could start afresh with lower cost people. That was just a really good way to leave the corporate world.
Yeah.
It's made me not really miss it ever, even on bad days. Really bad days. I don't miss it.
So, I mean, you paint a really real paint a real picture of what this is. It's easy to feel the texture of it, but I'm just curious. What are the hardest things about the life?
I told you how much flexibility there was. There really isn't. 'Cause 7 days a week, cattle have to be fed. And we were refilling cattle this spring before we had most of them sold. So there was never a day off. Now we have my parents over there. Now I'm starting to look at the future. I'm old enough that I'm starting to think about 10 years, and I'm thinking about when my dad at 71, almost 2, is physically not wanting or can't do this anymore, and my son and daughter and next son are gone. We could be stuck here alone. And I'd never get away. I mean, that with livestock is so difficult to think about. I'm a kind of a content person. I need a lot of my own time. So I've adjusted to that, but I want to at least be able to plan something. And I think if we're ever alone, I think we may just not buy cattle anymore. I just don't know how I could do that.
So
You'd have to have somebody else. You'd have to have something. That's the hard part, that inability to plan a lot of things. Like weddings, we have 2 weddings this fall. And they're at the beginning of harvest. And harvest can start in early September this year, the way the drought is. And some years it can go up to Thanksgiving. We've finished Thanksgiving week. And if it has to go, sometimes you can get 10 inches of rain, and if you don't do it when the time is right, so it has to be something really big for you to just say, not going there. So that's the hard part, Peter.
Have you gotten vacations?
Yes. We just take them. We went to DC again this year. We've gone to Miami to meet my exchange brother. We've gone to San Francisco. So we have traveled. And once you have that life, I don't want to go, I don't want to not. And when my kids are gone, I keep thinking, if they graduate and don't come back here, which, you know, we've never told them you need or should stay local, I think how are we going to get away to see them again? Things will change. Right now, everybody comes here. My parents' house is big. They built it so that everybody could come home. So the gang all comes home for the holidays, and they come to us.